people, Lek here. Okay, today I'm going to look at the third and final new British light tank, the Vickers Light. That is the Tier 10 tank. And I'm going to tell you right up front, this thing is absolutely spectacular. Let's get right to the numbers. Now, there's a certain online reviewer by the name of Meezy69, YouTuber, who has officially claimed on his website that the Vickers Light is balanced and the Vickers Cruiser is broken, Vickers Cruiser being the Tier 9. So I thought I would do a quick comparison of the broken tank and the balanced tank. Meadsy, please, if you want to comment, just comment on this video. I'd love to hear your feedback on why you think the Cruiser is broken and the Light is balanced. Here they compare side by side the 9 and the 10. Obviously, I'm comparing a 9 to a 10, but as I said in my review of the Cruiser plays a lot of matches against Tier 10s. You tell me which tank you'd rather be in, the broken one on the right or the balanced one on the left. You can see the Vickers Light has much more DPM. It has a better aim time, on movement rotation, a little bit better on the Cruiser. Don't think that makes it broken. And looking again at the mobility, which I complained on the Vickers Cruiser is a real dog. The Light has plenty more mobility, even though they have the same power. The horsepower to weight is much better on the Vickers Light. You can see it's almost 28, which is a lot higher. It's much better, and this tank really moves. You can play it as a light tank. The other difference is in the turret armor. It shows here that the Vickers Light has less turret armor, but that is actually incorrect. I will show that in a minute. Hull armor is way better on the Light. Let's do a more realistic comparison to the other lights and some of the most commonly used meds in Tier 10, really the best. These are the best four mediums currently, in my opinion, in Tier 10. The 121, E50M, STB1, and T62A. And of course, the two most common lights, or the only two other lights in Tier 10. So you can see compared to the other lights, the Vickers looks absolutely spectacular. It also compares really well to the mediums. I mean, look at the DPM, 3,200. I mean, that's unbelievable. We know this gun is fabulous. It's the same gun as a Vickers CR, but with higher DPM. The gun is truly great. My only complaint, the dispersion could be a little bit lower, but that's ridiculous because it's still better than the other lights in Tier 10. And in fact, it's better than the 121. Now, nothing compares to the dispersion on the E50M and the T62, which are absolute laser cannons. It's not as good as the STB, and that is noticeable. But you are in a light tank. You have light tank camo. You've got great speed. And of course, spotting distance, oh boy. So again, let's look at the mobility. It compares favorably to all the mediums, of course, much quicker than the meds. Not as fast as the other two lights, I will say that. Even after the nerfing, the Sheridan is quicker. But again, at 28 horsepower per ton, you can definitely play this as a light. You can run, you can spot, and getting to the spotting, the spotting range is the highest in the entire, I believe the highest in the entire game, 296 meters stock. I believe that is the highest spotting range in the game. I mean, that's unbelievable. It's got less hit points. I did notice that. And looking at the armor, again, hull armor 120. Look how that compares to other than the E50, which is, of course, a brick wall. It's the same or higher than these other tanks, which is insane. Turret armor 152 seems good for a light, bad for a medium, but I'll show you why. Now, looking at the Vickers CR, it says this has a higher turret armor, and it actually does not. So here it is using -10 gun depression. You see it's effective turret armor is about 217 on the sides. The mantlet's very good. You can't pin that, but the sides are quite large. And the upper glaze is effective at about 193. Looking at the Vickers Light, which supposedly has less armor, obviously, let's look at the upper glaze. It's 308 effective. That is a medium tank. You can't pen that with a medium. Might be able to get a heat round through it, but it's not easy. And the turret, the gun mantle is much larger. See, much larger, covers up more of the turret. The flat part of the turret, which is the weak part, the 150 millimeter thickness, is essentially impenetrable because it's all covered by the mantlet. And the sides, which are not covered by the mantlet, are effectively C220. That's much higher. So this turret is actually a lot better than the Vickers CR, and this tank has much better armor than the Vickers CR, which, according to certain people, is broken. All right, let's look at a couple of replays of this fantastic tank. Got a couple of matches today. First one from me, and second one from the one and only Darth Bane. This tank is so fun, I have to tell you. I really enjoy driving it. I definitely like it more than the CR. The CR is a good tank. This is, in my opinion, just a better tank. And again, it just comes down to the fact that I'm always getting tier 10s anyway when I'm playing a tier 9, so I might as well just use tier 10. One thing I forgot to mention in the review, I do calibrate the shells. There's debate on that, whether you should or not. Again, Meadsy, sorry to pick on you, bro. You said don't calibrate the shells. You don't need to. I disagree, and especially after Meadsy showed a game with Droodles doing 7,000 damage in this tank with calibrated shells. Hello. Anyway, just like the CR, obviously same gun, you have the Hesh. The Hesh is so important. I sound like Skate when I say that, but with calibrated shells, the Hesh has 116 pens, 440 damage. You have to maximize that as much as you can. And you see here, I'm hauled down. That was a dumb shot. I meant to shoot heat. I accidentally shot Hesh. I'm hauled down against an FE422, and I'm just ripping him apart. Obviously, he took a missile, but I was beating him anyway. I mean, you have a better turret than a 4202, which is ludicrous. Hesh shot right there to the side of a T92. Piece of cake. Team is pushing forward. This tank can really go haul down very easily. I don't know how I missed that, but against other lights, I can just Hesh the crap out of them, except for the Sheridan, of course. But you can Hesh the turret on the Sheridan pretty easily, which I do a lot. The FE is basically toast. We'll just finish him off here. But having a nice push up the hill, I kind of kept this match in here. Yes, it was a mastery. It was a cheap mastery just because it's early on, but just because of the use of the Hesh and the spotting and everything you can do. Look at the Hesh looking at the bat chat. There's nothing red here. Nothing. Again, T92 can easily Hesh that. I'm still on Hesh. You can see that there's no red. So try to shoot the Hesh. Again, just like the CR, as much as possible. DPM here, shooting Hesh, even with calibrated shells, is 3,700 damage per minute. So if you have a Leopard 1 rush you, a Leo PTA, any of the light tanks except the Sheridan, you can out DPM them easily. And you can also Hesh the side and rear of a lot of tanks. Now, I could have Heshed the rear of that, but he's already dead, so. And actually, see here, I switched to the Hesh. I missed that. I don't know where that went. I tracked him, but I could have actually Heshed that lower plate on the back of that i7 for full damage. I tried to get one into the E50, the AMX 50B, which is a Hesh magnet, but I could not. So, a really easy match, but I just kind of wanted to show how great the HE is here. Mobility is really terrific. You can move around the battlefield, you can spot for 1,000,000 miles. And with a DPM over 3,000, it's a dream. I mean, it really is my favorite light tank in the entire game. Of course, you have to drive over their turret just to be mean. It's a mastery. It's a cheap mastery, 3,100, but still did a lot of damage. 1,200 free, or 1,200 speed, not the best. But still, a great tank, and I really enjoyed that match. Got a great match here with Darth Bane, platooning with Linus in the i7. Bane, unconventional player as always, immediately goes the heavy route, but I like what he does here. Watch what he's doing. Normally you'd think a light tank going the heavy route is a death sentence, but Bane does it. Actually, what I like here is he is going to spot their team and then just get the hell out of there, which is great. And this tank can do that easily. In the CR, that move is a lot riskier because it just is so sluggish that if you run over and spot some heavies, you're going to eat some shells on the way out. Sometimes. For me, it was more often than not. So Bane going around the windmill here does a really great job of spotting. You'll see in a second. He basically spots their whole team, which is really nice. He's trying to get a couple shots in, but he's not going to sit here and trade, which is what he shouldn't do. I probably would have put heat round in there, but it's okay. He's spotted their entire team. Now everyone knows where they are. And instead of sitting there and trading like an idiot, he just gets out of there, which is what he should do. So that's a really good move. Use the speed of the tank. And when you do that at Winter Malanaka, you have to assume that their Mads and Lights are going to flank you, which he does, and he's coming back to protect his team, which is exactly right. So he's done a really good job here by spotting their heavies, and then he is then covering the flank against the Lights. Now this JG, I don't know what he's doing. He really wants to get a shot in, which I appreciate, but why climb on top of the hill, exposing the lower plate? He basically, he kills the Sheridan, but it's not what I would say a great trade because now he's been tracked and he's just eating rounds from the bad chat. And that's that. Don't climb over a hill in a tank that goes 15 kilometers an hour. Anyway, Bane now has an eye on the prize, going for the bat chat, not shooting the Hesh. I would be shooting Hesh because he can just annihilate him with the Hesh, but Bane choosing to shoot AP, gets a shot in, and now does the clever move and goes back to help and clear the Leopard 1. Again, I would be shooting Hesh here. He's just using AP, which he can. I mean, you got 3-on-1, so it doesn't really matter. But Hesh can penetrate any part of the front of Leopard 1. So just remember that. Not the gun mantlet, but definitely the upper and lower glacis without a problem. So if you got a Leopard 1 coming at you, Hesh him. So now they're kind of cruising here. They're doing a great job. Linus is using the i7 beautifully. The best part of the i7 is, other than the armor, of course, which is very troll, is the mobility. i7 is so big. You see Linus going back and forth here. He's almost playing it like a medium, which is how I like to play the i7. Obviously, it's a frontline heavy, but with the mobility, you can really move around. And so it's really, he's doing a great job of moving around, helping clear targets. Bane takes an absolute miracle bounce here from the E100. Which this tank will do. I mean, the turret is troll. It can bounce, no doubt. Eating this Badger for lunch. He could have actually heshed him in the back and sides. He did not do it. Bane, not a fan of the hesh, but I would be heshing him at that point. Now they're just chewing up this E100. I think Bane thought the E100 was toast, so he left him to go help the right flank, which is a good move. Just trying to get this other E100 out of the way. It was a 3-on-1 on the other side, but they ran into a couple of problems. So Bane helping clear here. And that's the beauty of this light tank. You have 3,000 plus DPM, and you can just bounce from one spot to another, help people clear tanks, spot, HE people. I mean, this thing can do everything. Now you see the E100 on the other side has not gone in, so he's going back so he can help them clear them. And that's the beauty of having this tank. I mean, the mobility is so great. You just run back, help your teammate, help your platoon mate as they clear this bozo. Linus doing a great job of holding him, not taking really a lot of damage. Batchat, I don't know what he's doing, but if Batchat had this gun, maybe he could have helped. Well, Bane eats a big shell here, but they're in good shape. It's 3 against 1. And it's just a simple job to clear this guy. Linus is going to pop in here and get a nice shot in. Naturally, Bane here shoves his teammate, platoon mate, excuse me, his clan mate, shoves him out of the way. Trying to get the kill steal, which is what I would have done, but instead he gets punished for that and getting killed. But a great game by Bane and Linus, by the way. Actually, a terrific platoon win here. You see Bane with 4,700 damage. Really great job. Linus, 4,100 damage. Fantastic game, guys. I love this tank. I highly recommend it. I think it's not broken. It's very strong. It might be OP. Definitely recommend you go and try this, guys. Hope you enjoyed the review, and please subscribe to the channel.